welcome to another video from Double Nibble Computers. This is going to be another Septandy special here. This is my 1000 SX. I just thought I'd show some of the upgrades I've done to it. First, let's take a basic look at what the SX is. It is a Turbo XT, so it does have the basic 4.77 MHz on it, but it is turbo boosted to 7.16. Ooh! This one has 640K on board, and then it's got the usual, CGA on it. The good thing with the Tandys, they have built-in video. Actually, pretty much everything's built in. But they also have a sound card built in, which was really unique back for the XT days. Now, I've done some modifications to mine, so let's start with this guy over here. That is a 1 meg VGA card. I don't mind CGA, but a lot of the games I just enjoy playing in VGA mode, and some of them actually look for VGA. So I have, I'll show you in a bit. It's actually a 16-bit card, but there's a lot of 16-bit cards that'll run in 8-bit mode. So this one's working nice, and like I said, it's got 1 meg of RAM on it. Plenty of room to handle the XT games. This is just a basic, excuse me, multi-IO card. So it's got the parallel port on it, 2 serials, possibly a game, I think it has. No, that's the parallel. Yep, nope, sorry. I'm getting confused with what I have these days. So it's got the 1 parallel, 2 comms, and that's it. And this guy is my other Picomem. So if you remember back to episode 2, when I had the compact portable, I put a Picomem into it. This is the other one I have. I bought 2 of them. And, well, it's such an awesome card. I just can't talk. There's nothing really negative about it. I mean, it's still new in development, so I don't want to say glitchy, but I mean, there are some games that just won't work. But I mean, overall, for what you're getting for your dollar on it, it's amazing. So same thing. I have this one set for an extra 96K on it, so that brings me up to the 736K. And I'll show you the free mem in a second there. I have the AdLib video card. Sorry, AdLib video. The AdLib audio card emulated on this one. For some reason too, I can't get the creative. Was like the CMS, Creative Music System, Creative Music Sound Card. I can't remember what the CMS stands for properly, but it's the predecessor to the Sound Blasters, made by Creative Labs. For some reason, I just can't get that function to work, but AdLib works fine, and that's totally fine for me. The other thing here, I don't know if I can zoom into it. I'll have to take it off. Give me 1 second here. My speaker. So it's upside down, but I have the V20, and then you can see over here, that is a 16 meg card just kind of sitting there, and no, it's not touching the chip, it's just off to the side, and that's what it looks like here. So having said that, I'm going to put you on pause for a second while I recalibrate this camera, and let's fire this puppy up. Okay, here we go. Oh, the other thing I forgot to mention, I did add a GoTech to this thing. I do plan on adding a second floppy drive, just haven't got around to doing that. I've got to make a cable for it. But right now I do have a GoTech, and it's working fine on this. So the problem is, when you start this guy up, the video takes a little bit of time before it turns on, because it's going through the onboard video and its own posting system. And then once that's clear, it'll fire up the VGA card. It should be happening right about now. Did I unplug it by accident? Sorry, something kind of glitched there. Let me reboot. I didn't screw the VGA cable in all the way, so there might be some small issues there, but nothing major. There we go. So very briefly, it showed the 1 meg on it. So there's the Picomem starting up. So that's the Picomem BIOS. It overrides the onboard BIOS. And this is your standard Picomem booting system, telling you the hard drives I have, emulated, memory. So now we're starting DOS. Again, I'm using 6.22. That was the 4 meg EMS video running. Sorry, why do I keep saying video? That was a 4 meg EMS memory running. This is a BIOS fix program that I found online to help with the Tandy 1000s. Some of them have problems using VGA. Like for example, Arkanoid. That ran perfectly, not a problem. But if I tried playing games like Moonbase or Commander Keen, they lock up and they get really upset. So this here will actually specify what kind of video card you're using. So I alternate between Color VGA and Color VGA plus MDA, just in case I wanted to full RAM or something, but the majority of the time I'm using Color VGA. So there we go. I got 668K free out of the 736, which is not bad for an XD class. And then, like I said, there's the 4 meg ZMS on it. AdLib is running, so let me show you, obviously, Arkanoid 2. This is my go-to game for showing things. Calibrate joystick, oops, sorry. Upper left, center, lower right. Now remember, it is an XT, it is 7.16 megahertz, but it's still XT class, so it's a little slow. But once the graphics card kicks in and everything, it takes over pretty nice, and the graphics seem pretty smooth on this. Now this is just the demo, so there's no, ball pinging sounds like you would hear if you're playing it. So let me just play this quickly here. Show you what I mean. Still not used to these IBM style joysticks, so they're spring loaded. Most of my joystick experiences on the Ataris and the 64s, the digital type, these analog ones, take a little bit of getting used to. But not bad sound for an AdLib. Again, that's emulated AdLib. Whoa man, I'm horrible. Yep, horrible. Anyways, enough of that. The other thing I did want to show you here, let me switch to, where is it, E:. Keep forgetting what the keys are in this one. The keyboard is different on the 1000 is different, the 1000SX it's different, and then after that I believe it started getting a little more standardized. It's not horrible, but it does take a little getting used to. Anyways, where was I here? So sysinfo does have a nice benchmark program, but as you can see even here, it knows there's a V20 on it, but it does misread it at 11 megahertz, just because I think it's the optimization of the the V20 is kind of overriding what's happening here. But having said that, though, what am I doing here? Alt B for benchmark, CPU speed. So you can see running on turbo mode at 1.3, the equivalent of an actual XT. So that's not too bad there. And then let me exit out for a second. Actually, let's see if it works in this one. I do have another program installed in this one for the mode selector. Because to switch speed on this, you need to type mode slow or mode fast in DOS. But that only worked on a couple of versions of the Tandy DOS. If you use actual MS-DOS, it just says unknown command slow or fast. So someone wrote a terminate and stay resident program that will do it for you here. So you hit, where to go there? Control, Alt, Insert. And yeah, there it goes. So you can see it dropped to 1 over here and 8 megahertz down there. So if we do that again, Control, Alt, Insert, I get the menu, but you can see how it jumps back up to 11 megahertz and 1.3. So yeah, that's not too bad. Let's see here, Alt quit. And then obviously my other favorite is check it. This is check it 3, check it. Now I don't have the math coprocessor installed. One day I'll get one. I did mention before with my compact portable, I was thinking moving that one over, but I forgot about this is a turbo speed, and that other the math coprocessor is just fixed at 4.77. Some say it might work. I don't want to try it or fry it or anything. So this one here does know it's a V20 at 7.15. So I'm getting 460 dry stones. Sorry, 467. So we got 467 and 8.8K. So let me try if this works in here. It does. You do notice the cursor shape, so when it goes to like a full, like 8-bit basic block flashing cursor look, that tells you you're in slow mode. So if I exit out here now and start that again, so if you see on the bottom there, it does say V20 at 4.77 megahertz. And we went from, what was it, 467 to 364. So 7.1, so 364 to 7.1. So yeah, there's a noticeable difference here. But, the good thing with this one though, it does notice, okay, not much you can see on the math, but the main processor, because of the V20, is a little faster, just in regular 4.77, I call it stock mode. And then, once again here, we'll boost that up, escape, run it again. So we got the same value of 467. There you go. So you can see there's a good difference up here. But again, some of that is the turbo and not just the processor. The other cool thing I wanted to show you here, because I am using strictly an emulated hard drive, and it's obviously all solid state, the hard drive specs on this thing is just out of the... It's like warp speed here compared to an XT. So we'll wait for this. I figured the values. I haven't done this in a while, but... Look at that, 1.1 meg. So you gotta remember, up here, okay, faster is better. Down here, slower is better, because that's your seeking speed. So that would be when the heads start moving around trying to look for the information. Well, there's no heads, and it's literally just off you go kind of thing. So that's close to 0 as I think we can get. Right? Compared to that average speed up there. And for those of us who, well, I never had an XT, but my friend did. But for those of us who have seen the original XTs running with a hard drive, those, 10 megs, even 5 megs, most of them were 20 megs, those MFM hard drives. They were slow, they were loud, they were kind of clunky. I mean, they were totally awesome because, your floppy disk is only 360K, and now you got a 20 meg hard drive. But the speed compared to what we have now is just slow. Even up here you can see it 13 times better than an IBM PC XT. So that too also helps with the gameplay. Or I guess anything else you're using. And, well yeah, that's it for now. I'm gonna... while I have this out, I'll probably do a separate episode on the Picomem. Just because there's so many different functions on it. But, no, this is for now the end of this episode, because this was mostly strictly for Septandy. And this is my 1000SX, and I hope you liked it. I just wanted to show one or two other small things here with my Tandy. With regards to the Picomem, I'll make a longer episode on this one. But there's two really cool functions with the Picomem. So if you hit Control-Shift F1, you get a basic rundown of what your file allocations are right now. So if I had a floppy drive image, there would be an FDD over here. This gives me a quick rundown of what hard drive images I'm running. Tells me what RAM I'm using. So I am using some of the higher 160 built onto the Picomem for EMS and other purposes. If you hit, get out of that, Control-Shift F2, this is the neatest feature here. This is strictly drive A, but you can choose any of the floppy drive images you want. And the good thing with this, you can actually use 1.44 megabytes or 1.2, whatever your images are on there, as long as DOS can see it. I mean, you can't use some of the higher. There's like a 1.76 or something, or I know they had IBM had a 2 megabyte floppy at one point. So if you're just keeping to your standard DOS versions, or not versions, but anyways, the ones that DOS can see, your 360, your 720, the 1.44, the 1.2, this will see it. Because the BIOS overrides the BIOS on the computer, it'll work. And I will show you that in the Picomem episode. Now the other thing I want to just show quickly here, for those who have the Tandy 1000SX and are kind of wondering what's going on here, in terms of what I have running in my config. So, actually, let's use that. It'll show up better. So this is my config sys. It's pretty basic, but just in case you're having problems, this is what I'm using. So it's pretty much stock. So you got the set ver. I put files at 20 because it's a small little XT, and then that comes with the Picomem. Well, you got to download it, but I mean that is for the Picomem, and that loads the page memories. And the N, I forget what the N stands for, but basically that's just a quick load. Instead of like checking every little page, it'll just give it a quick skim. Now, having said that, let's take a look at my AutoExec. So you got your basics, your echo off, your prompt, your path. I was trying to get the blaster going, I couldn't do it, so I just remmed it out. And then I mentioned I have the Tandy specific files. So first is the BIOS fix, sorry, not bio. Having one of those days today. The BIOS fix, and that's that VGA controller. So that's the menu that comes up that will help the BIOS actually understand what video card you have in there. There's two files after that. I'm only using one, but there's speed, which is just a DOS command version of the turbo button basically. And then T-speed is the terminate and stay resident version, so that's always in memory. And it doesn't take a lot of memory, so I just recommend keeping that in your AutoExec. And that's when you press the Control-Alt-Insert, and that'll change. Actually, I can show you now. Look, Control-Alt-Insert. So when you have the underscore cursor looking there, that's turbo mode. And when you go to full cursor, that's regular 4.77. So turbo, slow, turbo, slow. And it's a lot easier than doing what Radio Shack suggested in the beginning, was going over to mode. So you'd have to drop the DAWs, type in mode, and actually I'll show you that. I'll show you what happens when you go to mode. Actually, before that, let me finish off the AutoExec. So I got the drivers for the Picomem, and that's that shortcut for the Control-Shift F1, F2. And then I decided to put mem in there just to remind me if I have all the memory running, because I might have adjusted something and went to bed, and the next day I'm only running at 640 base, and so that's just a visual reminder of actually what's running. So having said that, let's get out of here. So as per instructions, if you want to go to fast or slow, you're supposed to type mode and then slow. But the problem is, Microsoft DOS doesn't understand that because it was a Tandy DOS modification, if you want to call that. So mode fast does not work. Oop, if I typed it right, that would be even better. Mode fast, same thing. Doesn't know what the parameter is. So that's why someone created a quick shortcut, and it's just click, 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 and it's done. And again, Control Alt Insert. I'm not showing cursor. Hang on. There we go. So Control Alt Insert. So full cursor is slow, and that underscore cursor is the fast mode. And that's it for my Tandy. Well, for this Tandy. This is my 1000 SX. And it's a fun little machine to play games on. Especially with the Picomem. Oop, out of focus. There we go. The only negative thing I wanted to mention about the Picomem, and it's nothing about the card itself or the manufacturer distributor TechSelect. It's just the nature of the beast when using 3D printed resin. The parts get a little brittle as compared to metal, and if you're not careful with it, thinking you get so used to moving around the metal parts, you break the top off. Now maybe if it was printed in a different plastic or something compared to a resin, maybe it would be a little more forgiving, but apart from that, I mean, it's an awesome card, and obviously it still fits in nicely, and this does help. The good thing with it being broken is there's a little gap up here now, obviously, and I can run the audio wire straight out. And with the 1000 SX, I also have the COM2 ribbon cable coming out this way. So, in a way, it's kind of a blessing. But I just wanted to mention that. While we're here, so if you've never seen a Picomem in real life here, as soon as we focus, here we go. So obviously this is the Raspberry Pi module. And you got the SD card up here that contains all your hard drive images, floppy images, config file. There's two headers on this, one 90 degrees and one a little more parallel to the card. This is the audio DAC adapter there, so that'll take all the signals and amplify it, and here's your audio out. This is your IRQ setting. I have mine set for 5 at the moment. This just says serial. I think it's the serial input to get into the card. Don't quote me on that, I don't remember exactly. And then you have the USB connection over here. What that's for is flashing the Raspberry Pi firmware. So your best bet with that one is to take the card out, and then just like any other Raspberry Pi, and I keep throwing off my focus. Let's try that again. I won't stick my hand in it, but anyways, like any other Raspberry Pi, you hold down the button, plug it in, your computer will see it, and with this you just copy a let's try that. The firmware file over, and it'll just self-install. Now, there is a reason why I took it out of my 1000 SX. I'm going to move it to another Tandy for another video, so stay tuned.